will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better world awaiting. We can build it if we try.
It was something that happened at Y12 that we were unable to really publicize very much, but we did do it. And that was to bring in the indictment. And so, because it wasn't really much made of it during our trial, I think it was taken as evidence by the government. Anyway, it never got much publicity. So today we want to take up the work of doing this again and again, and with all of you. So we'll do this ourselves, and then you'll be able to have your own ways of carrying on the indictment. So, today, through our nonviolent action, we Transform Now Plowshares indict the U.S. government nuclear modernization program, including the new uranium processing facility planned at Oak Ridge and the dedication of billions of public dollars in the continuation of the Y12 facility. Whereas this program is an ongoing criminal endeavor in violation of international treaty law binding on the United States under the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution, Article 6,
this Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding.
Whereas the United States is bound by the United Nations Charter, ratified and signed in 1945. Its preamble affirms that its purpose is to save future generations from the scourge of war. It directs that all nations shall refrain from the use of force against another nation. Article 2 regards the threat to use nuclear weapons as an ongoing international criminal activity.
Whereas the Nuremberg Principles is also promulgated in 1945, primarily by the U.S., prohibit crimes against peace, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. They render nuclear weapon systems prohibited, illegal, and criminal under all circumstances and for any reason.
Whereas the United States government is obligated as well by the Non-Proliferation Treaty in force since 1970 that requires the signers to pursue negotiations in good faith and to eliminate nuclear weapons at an early date. The U.S. government is also obligated by the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, which prohibits full-scale nuclear explosions.
Therefore, the work planned at Oak Ridge violates all these agreements and is thus criminal.
Oak Ridge Y12 is slated to receive more than $6.5 billion in
in
federal funding over the next decade for continuing nuclear weapons production. The new uranium processing facility is expected to sustain a nuclear arsenal of 3,000 to 3,500 weapons beyond the middle of the century. Additional production facilities are sought as well. Instead of eliminating nuclear weaponry, Oak Ridge Y-12 perpetuates it through the Nuclear Modernization Program.
Against these continuing violations of treaty law, we assert our human right to civil resistance. Furthermore, we affirm as crucial the human right to be free from these crimes. The Nuremberg principles not only prohibit such crimes, but oblige those of us aware of the crime to act against it. Complicity in the commission of a crime against peace, a war crime, or a crime against humanity is a crime under international law.
The ongoing building and maintenance of Oak Ridge Y-12 constitute war crimes that can and should be investigated and prosecuted by judicial authorities at all levels. We are required by international law to denounce and resist known crimes. For the sake of the whole human family threatened by nuclear weapons, and for the sake of our planet Earth, which is abused and violated, we indict the Oak Ridge Y-12 nuclear weapons facility and all government officials, agencies, and contractors as responsible for perpetuating these war crimes.
And we are all very grateful to John LaForge and Nukewatch for this wonderful map that they have given us of the Great Plains, but we can all imagine the entire map of the United States similarly dotted with red marks. In fact, Kristen Iverson, in her book Whole Body Exposure, Living in the Downwind of Rocky Flats, declared in her book that the whole of the United States now is one huge bomb factory. And so we recognize this, and we thank Nukewatch for this wonderful visual reminder. The whole of this country is one huge bomb factory. And we also would like to remind you of the work of a representative, non-voting member of Congress, Eleanor Holmes Norton, since about 1993, has been reminding and offering for the District of Columbia her bill for the economic conversion of nuclear weapons and their abolition.